Hello and welcome to Words of Ex-Mormon today. I am a little bit late this weekend making my post because I partied hard this weekend. And by party hard, I mean that I went to my daughter's homecoming parade that she was in, and then on Saturday yesterday I spent the day traveling to a wedding that was just beautiful, and it was this adorable, lovely Hobbit-themed wedding, and it was super, super fun. Got to reconnect with a lot of old friends and just to celebrate the couple, and it was really, really awesome, and it was super fun, but it was a lot of travel, and I am exhausted. So I'm an old lady, and I'm just super groggy and unprepared today. So I apologize for the lateness, and also for, if I seem unprepared. I am positively doused in glitter. You can't really maybe see that on the video, but I am completely covered in glitter still from yesterday. So worth it. I like glitter anyway, so it's fine. Anyway, I am here today I'm gonna talk about a few things. It's been weighing heavy on me this week, this thing I'm going to talk about. But really quick, I just want to kind of say welcome to my new followers. I went from about 70 followers to over 120. So I got 50 plus new followers, which I super appreciate. I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you so much for any support that you are willing to offer. I really hope that my videos and my commentary offers some value for you, and that you're able to find a home here and stay for a while. Before I really get to kind of like the topic that I'm going to talk about today, I wanted to address something this week. So I've been trying to post every day something like a meme that feels poignant to me or something. This week I posted a meme that says, "Turns out my friends who love to tell me hate the sin, love the sinner in regards to my sexuality feel very attacked when I tell them hate the belief, love the believer." Almost as if that phrase is just an underhanded way to tell someone you actually don't love them. And I posted that meme. I think for the most part, people were supportive and, got a lot of likes and supportive comments on that. But I did get a couple of comments that I wanted to address directly in this video. I just kind of lacked the energy to respond in a text and in a limited space that is provided on the platforms where they commented. So I'm just going to talk about it here in this video and just kind of address it that way. I feel like I can be more eloquent that way and kind of get the point across a little bit more. One said, "I wouldn't be offended by either statement, frankly. It actually sounds like good advice on how to live life." This one kind of seems like live and let live is probably what they imagine the quote of hate the sin, love the sinner to be. I also got one that said, "Love to you means good feeling inside head," in quotes. But we say love is in agape, which means desiring the divine good for others. We love you. That's why we don't want you to do evil and damn yourself presently and in the hereafter. So agape, by the way, is a reference to, I don't remember exactly. I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I pronounced it correctly and that I knew what this person was talking about. I believe it's a Grecian goddess that it's referring to, agape, and then also the term agape love is more like an unconditional kind of love. And I feel like that's really a misnomer as far as this quote goes, this comment goes, because unconditional love would not require you to point out that there's a sin involved. Does that make sense? I feel like everybody makes mistakes, and we all know that. Certain sins are more visible than other sins. and like, or more apparent, or, you know, whatever. But anyway, to point it out and say, well, I love you anyway, regardless of what that is. Like, you could be like, well, that's like saying, well, my type are blondes, but you're a brunette, so, but I love you anyway. Like, if you put it in like those terms, it's really the same thing, but it's very superficial, and it's not an unconditional love. So I do want to say that by the way that these persons commented, they probably are, you know, the kind of people who have the best of intentions. They are just ignorant in the way that these things hurt people. And by ignorant sounds like a dirty and insulting kind of word, but really all it means is that you just don't know better yet. So I hope that that is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I hope that that is a correct vibe, and that, you know, both of these people are people who are willing to listen to my explanation and to reevaluate their understanding, so that to a degree where in the future they can empathize with other people's experiences and open their mind to accept the explanation that I'm going to offer. So the key phrase to this meme that I posted is about hate the sin or love the sin is, you know, it could possibly be used in a more accepting context if sin is something that harms another person or is like a truly unfortunate choice of behavior. For this context, I'm going to use the word sin as synonymously with something that harms other people purposely. Like something that is something that harms people, we can agree is typically morally wrong. I'm not talking about breaking up with somebody. Breakups happen. It doesn't necessarily mean it's morally wrong. That can still hurt people. People can be hurt by those things. Setting boundaries can sometimes hurt people's feelings. But I think you guys can all understand and be on board with sin being something that is a thought out choice that somebody makes that harms another person. Okay, so to make my point, for example, if someone was like a teenage kid and they stole nail polish from the store, or they stole $20 out of your wallet. They're your teenage kid, your teenage child. And you know, and I'm obviously like, this isn't talking about somebody who's a kleptomaniac who like has an actual like condition that compels them to take things that they don't need or whatever. We're talking about something that is like thought about. They thought about it. They wanted that thing. They, for whatever reason, decided they needed it, and they took that item and they pocket it. That is, it does hurt somebody else, because whatever money they took or whatever item they took, it doesn't belong to them, and it hurts a person at some point where that it belonged to that person, and so they no longer have that money to spend, or that store lost money on that nail polish. It's just an idea. It's just a concept. You know, if you found that out about your child, that they stole something, you might say to yourself, love the sinner, hate the sin, because you would not go on to hold them to this quote and be like constantly at them, well, you're a sinner, you stole something once. No, what you would do is you would correct the behavior. You would talk to them. You would give them maybe a punishment. Maybe even the law necessarily in some cases might need to be involved. Maybe there are repercussions that way. And you would talk to them and you would teach them how that hurts somebody else. And we don't do that because it hurts someone else. It affects other people. So, you know, it can possibly be a compassionate thought process, love the sinner, hate the sin, when we are using it in direct relation to something that a person can change about themselves, that not just something that you just don't like, but something that is a behavior that hurts other people and that they can change. or even necessarily, maybe it's something that hurts themselves. Maybe somebody is, I don't even want to go down that road. Never mind. I don't need to come up with other ideas. This is a perfectly good one. We only need one example. I just want to make a point. So when that person, when shown love, despite their sin and the thing that they did wrong, they can change and they can become better. They can forsake the sin and behavior that hurts others, and then they are no longer a sinner. And that's the point. Okay. But when we come to what this meme said, which was, people who tell me hate the sin, love the sinner in regards to my sexuality. And those are the key words there. I'm aware that some people believe that being on the LGBTQIA spectrum is a sin. But let's compare the above, okay? Being on the spectrum is, one, not something a person can control. They are, in fact, born this way. And as a matter of opinion, it's not a matter of opinion. It's a matter of science. So you can feel differently if you want to, but it doesn't change reality, and you're literally wrong. There's plenty of scientific evidence for this about gender differences. There is absolutely more than two genders. And there are studies that are done. There are statistics. So it is not a choice for someone to be on that spectrum. Two, a person's sexuality does not hurt another person. We're not going to talk about drag queens here. We're not going to talk about the perception, a false perception that transgender people assault other people in bathrooms. None of that is even remotely, like somebody assaulting someone in a bathroom is wrong anyway. It has nothing to do with transgender. It has nothing to do with drag queens. All of that is just a load of crap, and we don't need to address it. Those things, somebody assaulting another person would be assault, not in relation to any LGBTQIA thing. Does that make sense? So, someone being on the LGBTQIA spectrum does not hurt any other person. Not in any way. So, you don't have to be comfortable with it. But your comfort is not another person's responsibility. And it's not the same as harm caused by an immoral act such as rape or murder or stealing or any of those kinds of things. So when someone says, love the sin or hate the sin in relation to someone's sexuality specifically, it is hurtful because their sexuality isn't something that they can separate from themselves. They cannot choose to be different. They cannot forsake it. They can't repent of it because it's a part of them. And when you say something like this, you're saying you hate the very being and the very essence of that person. So I don't think that Christians, that any Christian, religious or not, any of those people, anybody who's not religious, I don't think that anyone, none of this is just about accepting everything like it's a free-for-all. And I know that that's the kind of comeback that people, well, you say that you have to be tolerant, but tolerance just means that you accept everything and everybody can do whatever they want, blah, blah, blah. It's another one of those rhetorics it's a false rhetoric. It's made up. Nobody really thinks that way. It's not a matter of just accepting everything like it's a free-for-all. Immorality exists both inside and outside of religion. Most people, the vast majority of people will agree with that. So it isn't just a case of like anything goes. It's a matter of the context you're using the phrase in. The fact that it's inaccurate and using it to quote justify loving a person in the LGBTQIA spectrum despite their sin is cruel. And it moves away from being ignorant into being willfully ignorant, which means that you have been presented with more experience and more facts and more opportunity to give empathy, and you are choosing to be bigoted. And that is a nasty insult, and I mean it. So with all that said, let's just stop throwing that phrase around at all. Let's not hate the sin, love the sinner. Let's not even love the sinner. Let's just love people and stop labeling people as sinners in general. So with that said, and hopefully that wasn't too disjointed. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. And I think I might be getting a little cold. See? So if my voice goes in or out, like I talked everyone's ear off last night, I know for sure. So if my throat's a little, so if I do, my voice goes out or something, or if I cough, just bear with me, please. So, last week I gave a little, it was over an hour, blog, video, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to call it. It was very nerve-wracking to me to say the things that I had on my mind, and I did it anyway. And something happened this week, likely because of that last video. It is by far my most provocative so far. And I'm feeling very conflicted about this event, about it, and I'm going to do my best to articulate it. I do have a lot of notes, partially because I just want to get it right. I want to get the feelings that I have right, and I've had feelings all week, and I've been writing them down, and I've been trying to accumulate them. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to be misunderstood. So I am sorry if I read too much, but I am very, very new to this whole world of ex-Mormons. I'm new to the video world. I've never really done this before. I'm definitely putting myself out there, but I've ruffled some feathers, and people I know personally are starting to notice. And that's fair. Like, I'm posting publicly on social media. A lot of my friends and my family, people who are in my ward and my stake, apparently, they have the ability to see it, and they have the ability to share it, and they can say to their neighbors or the bishop or the stake president or anybody else, have you seen this? This girl is talking about such and such. I know that. I do. And I'm not by any means saying that they shouldn't watch it or whatever. Like, it is what it is. I get it. When you're doing these kinds of things, you open yourself to criticism and possibilities. But I want to start, I'm going to explain this, and I do want to start out by saying that the people that I'm going to talk about, 100% wonderful people, okay? They are the best of the best kind of people, and, most of you who are watching this probably do not know me personally. If you do, you probably still don't really necessarily know who I'm talking about, but if you know me personally, if you know where I live, you know my ward or whatever, you may be able to deduce who I am talking about. I do not want you to contact them. I don't want you to bother them. I want you to leave them alone. They are good, wonderful people. I have so much respect for them. I feel like with all of my heart and logic, these people are stuck between what maybe they feel like they want to do, which I think is probably just to let me do my own thing over here, and they'll do their thing over there, and they'll just be like, whatever. It's not about them. Like I've said lots of times, this isn't about anyone. This isn't about people specifically. It's about the church. And they're just doing what they've been asked to do. And they're being good people who are fulfilling the needs that they see. And so I just please, if you think you know who I'm talking, just leave them alone. Okay. Just let's keep everything here. And just keep that in mind as I process, because it's a precarious place to be in the church. And my heart goes out to them. On Wednesday, I received a text from one of the members of the bishopric, and it said, Bray, can blank, I took his name out, and I stop by your house and meet with you and Ches briefly tomorrow evening. Well, while I respect the snot out of these people, I didn't reply right away. And I don't have any desire to meet with them as friends. Absolutely. Like, I consider them friends. Their families are wonderful people, wonderful families. They are very kind, very good people. But as far as like talking about the church, I don't want to talk about it. And to be fair, I've been invited to church a couple of times since I left, but otherwise people in my neighborhood are very friendly and they just kind of wave and they say hi. But that's really all as far as it goes. Like, it's very superficial now, which is fine. I get it. I get the awkwardness. I get the confusion. I'm fine. I'm comfortable with that. So I'm good. But I haven't been approached really. I mean, I've been invited a couple of times by the bishop to come to church. You know, the doors are open, you're welcome. And I just am like, okay, thanks. You know, it's fine. But I haven't been approached about the church, and I don't want to talk about the church with them because I know where it's going to go. It's not going to be a conversation. I know what they're going to say. So I didn't want to meet with them, and I didn't respond for several hours. I just wanted to kind of say something like, no, thank you. But I was kind of paralyzed. Like, you don't say no to leadership. You don't turn down callings. You don't say no. You absolutely go and meet with the bishop when he says so. You just don't. You don't turn that down. And I felt like I was kind of reduced back to that infantilization, which is another video I'm going to do eventually about infantilization, where I was reduced to this level of childhood that you need permission to do anything. You have to have permission from somebody. You have to be behaving. You have to be minding. You have to be obedient. And I don't know if you can remember, think back to when you were a child and you did something wrong. Like maybe you broke something you weren't supposed to, or maybe you called your brother a name, or you hit your sister, or something that you know is really bad and you're going to be in trouble for, and you're just waiting for your parents to find out. And there is that like deep-seated like fear in your body. And I haven't had that happen to me for a long time. And so I was this pang of dread kind of hanging over me, that I was like, I'm going to be in trouble. And I had this conflicting kind of feeling like, I am a grown-ass adult. I can talk about what I want to talk about. I can talk to who I want to talk to, and I don't have to obey, and I don't have to get permission, and I don't need to talk to people I don't want to talk about. So I just didn't comment. I didn't reply for a while. I did talk to my husband about it, and he, because it was about both of us, it said, can we meet with you and Ches? He was curious, and he did reach out to not the one who messaged me, but the other guy, and he said, what is this about? The response was as follows. Hey Ches, blank, I took his name out, and I were asked by the stake to reach out to you guys about the podcast that Bray's been doing. It sounds like you guys already have the process of removing your names from the church records started, but we naturally wanted to invite you guys not to post things that are against church doctrine, although we of course respect your freedom and experiences. He did go on to say further in the text that, as a bishopric, they want to be friends with us, that has nothing to do with our membership in the church, and they respect us and everything. And I do 100% completely believe that. I believe that they are genuine people. I appreciate that. I really have so much respect for them. I cannot reiterate enough how much respect I have for them. But I am still pretty upset about this regardless. I spent a long time going through my Facebook friends during the last few days, and deleting people who are members of my stake, members of my ward, people who I count as friends. And it's not to say that I'm cutting ties. It's not to say that I don't want to be friends with them, or that I hate them, or that I'm mad. It's just that, like, I've been posting these things, and I made a video about it. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4. I want to say it was probably 3 or 4. I don't know. It's the one where I'm in the green dress. It is an answer to a question that I got when I first started. And I said in there that, you know, somebody had asked me, what do I expect this channel to do for my family and my friends who are believing, and like, what is my expectation? And I said in there that really this is for me. It's not for them. It's for me. And they probably will see it at some point, and that's fine. I'm really hoping that all it does for them is just that they'll understand where I'm coming from and what my feelings and my experiences are, because there's just a lot of, you know, okay, well, we'll accept you, but also we don't want to hear about it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to hear about it. We don't want you to behave any differently. Like, stay the same, act Mormon, and we can accept that. And you can watch the whole video. I don't really want to go over that more here, but that's kind of what I thought when I started posting these, and it's on my social media, and people who are my friends on my friends list, they have access to that. And so I expected everybody to behave maturely and like adults, and to either enjoy the content for what it is, which is for me, not for them, or to move on from it and let it be. And that's what I had hoped for. But I did go through and I took a lot of people off, and I feel bad about that. I feel guilty a little bit, you know, like I'm burning bridges. But I don't know who I can trust. It's entirely possible that the stake, I don't know what that means exactly, the stake. I know that that some of the stake members are friends on Facebook. I don't know how active they are on other social media or anything like that. I didn't send it to them or anything. And I think that they are wonderful men too. And it's entirely possible that they saw it just in passing and were like, oh, let's investigate this. But I think, based in my experience, it's also entirely possible that somebody else was like, oh, gossip. Do you know about Bray? Blah, blah, blah. And then therefore it was found. I will also say that in the last 2 weeks, now, mind you, this account has been up for 3 weeks. Okay. So in the last 2 weeks, my Instagram has been shut down twice for hate speech. There is nothing that I've posted that has been hate speech. In fact, I contested those things, and they were, within minutes, it came back saying there is nothing in here that's hate speech. It's been restored, blah, blah, blah. Because it's not hate speech. It's not hate speech for me to say I had this bad experience. This is my opinion. You know, like it's not hate speech for me to say those things and to compare that. And so it's definitely true that is maybe not even somebody I know. I'm not accusing anybody. A lot of people I don't know are seeing these things. Any person who felt like they wanted to report that, any Mormon, any non-Mormon, whoever, could still just report my content and just be like, this is hate speech. So I'm not accusing anybody. What I'm saying is that it's hard for me to see the people that I had become friends with and then feel like I can trust them. Are we genuine friends when we talk and chit chat at the store? When I'm on a walk and you say, hey, Bray, how you doing? And I take out my earbuds and we talk for 10 minutes. How genuine is it? Are we friends? Or are you trying to figure something out about me? I'm an open book, honestly. But really, I haven't posted anything that is, quote, against the church, against church doctrine. Everything that I've shared has either been my experience, and people may or may not like my perspective, but they don't get to decide that it isn't true, that I didn't have that experience, or that I didn't feel that way. They can call it hate speech. They can't, but it isn't. They can't even really claim it's against church doctrine, because everything that I've said, that I've read out of church talks, church documents, or I've presented the resources for you to find so that you can find it and research it and figure it out yourself. So the church also does tend to label things, though, as, that things that don't feel good or feel positive or shine a positive light on the church as against the church. And I know I'm using quotes a lot, but I'm trying to emphasize certain things. So I'm sorry if that's super annoying, but I think I'm using them correctly. So, and in many of my experiences and observances that, my experience aren't positive. So I can see how that would be something that would upset true believing Mormons. Now they, and I mean the church, they just don't get to tell me what to do anymore. I'm scared to be doing this, and I'm scared to be telling my truth, and I am stressed out about it, but I'm doing it scared. My whole life, every question I've had, every concern I've had, every time that there was cognitive dissonance, or when I expressed my belief that a teaching was not morally correct, I was told not to talk about it, to be quiet, to put it on my shelf, to basically, sit down and shut up. I feel like I've shut up for so long about it that I might crack into a million pieces if I don't talk about it. Now, this isn't quite the same as the you can leave the church, but you can't leave it alone quip. We see it all over the place. And I plan to do a video about that eventually too. Actually, other than this, I haven't even been told that yet. I don't think I've made it that big. This is my 9th video. It's really super insane how fast they want to tell me to shut up. There are people who have been doing this for years and years and years and still haven't been told to shut up. But here we are. Couple of videos. Little miss, you need to be quiet. Don't make us look bad. When I get big enough to be told in comments constantly that why can't you just leave the church and leave it alone? That's a totally different thing. I will talk about that. But it's along the same vein. And I do feel guilty. I feel really bad. Many of these people that I have taken off my friends list, they are, as I've said before, wonderful people. I never ever left. Nothing I left was because of the people. I think they are genuine and they are good. But many of them have served me. I have served them. Our kids are friends. We've done a lot together. And I don't want to appear ungrateful for those things and those services and those blessings that they have given me. I don't want to burn bridges, but I feel like I am burning bridges. I am like I'm participating in some kind of betrayal. And that's uncomfortable for me. I certainly hope that people around me can understand it for what it is, that I am rooting for you from over here. I want success and happiness and peace for all of you, for everybody. I really don't feel that we can do that together on the path, because we're not on the same path. We've split paths. And I don't feel that we can continue walking together toward the same goal. We need to go our separate ways toward separate goals. I will still wave at you from over here, and I hope that you'll wave at me, and I hope that we can both say, I really respect that person, and they're doing what's best for them. And just to say that from afar, and be interested in each other's accomplishments and excitements and I really hope that they are still willing to reach out to me if they need help. And I certainly hope that if some dire need came up that I could reach out to them as well. But I think on a day-to-day basis, I feel like I can't, I feel like it's a tether. And I feel like I just don't know. I don't know who is or isn't genuine. That breaks my heart to say. But it's a boundary that I feel like I need to set. And let's also acknowledge that the church literally made me this way. Every member from the time we are very small are taught to share. Every member a missionary. Does that ring a bell to anybody? Every member a missionary. Invite your friends to church and to activities. Use every opportunity to bear your testimony and proclaim truth. Share the Book of Mormon. Set up appointments with the missionaries and invite someone over to hear the lessons. Make gratitude posts on social media. At Christmas time, #light the world. Serve a mission for 2 years as a young adult, and then at least serve one mission with your spouse when you're older. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And, I was taught my whole life to share. I was taught my whole life to speak the truth and to share the truth. And now, because I'm no longer part of their congregation, they want me to abandon that reflex that has been implanted into me surgically by the church for 41 years and to shut up. And I just can't. So at this point, I have lost my community. I lost it before, honestly. Removing people from my list is kind of just the next step in the acceptance phase, I guess. I don't know. But I've lost my community. And part of it is indeed that I myself am distancing from the people in my ward. That is on me to a degree. I've explained my reasoning. But I thought, we can get along. We don't have to have the same beliefs. We will focus on other things that we have in common. But at this point, I don't know who I can trust, who I can confide in, who I can talk with without wondering what they may be thinking about me. And for my emotional safety and security, I just feel like it's necessary to create a new community. People will meet me for the first time now, and this is me. And I will be allowed to find a new community that accepts me for who I am. I don't have to be quiet or act or pretend to be a certain way. I will say, yes, I believe this. No, I don't believe that. Hey, we have this in common. You want to do lunch? That's cool. I don't have to pretend to be something else. And I think that's the healthiest thing for me. Now, I've never, ever been a rebellious person, for the sake of being rebellious anyway. I got accused of it a lot when I was in high school and college. I had all kinds. I've told you before in other videos, I was a punk rocker. I had blue and red and purple hair. I always had something going on with my hair. And I just was always so almost insulted by it. I was like, my mom took me to the salon and paid them to do it for me. Who am I rebelling against by having purple hair? I am not a rebellious person. I've always been very accommodating, very dutiful person. And I firmly declare that this project that I'm doing is not about rebellion. I truly and honestly believe that what I'm saying would never, ever change the mind of someone who is a true believing Mormon, who is currently happy and believing in the church. I don't think that they would believe the things that I'm saying anyway. I, too, spent my whole life doing mental gymnastics and deliberately wearing blinders so that I wouldn't have to face these things. So the videos, like I've said over and over, they are not for those people. My goal was never to make people leave the church or to bust something open and do an expose. Like, there are other blogs that do those better. I'm sharing my opinions. I am sharing my experiences, and no one gets to stop that and make it say it's not real. They don't get to tell me that I didn't have that or that I can't feel that way. They don't get to make excuses anymore. My goal is just to be a soft landing for others, like they were for me. Other people who do the same kind of videos, the same kind of podcasts, they were a soft landing for me so that I didn't feel alone, that I felt safe, that I felt like validated in my concerns and my questions while I was finding my own way out. People may even watch these kinds of videos and they may strengthen their testimonies. And that's fine if that's what it does for them. You know, I don't know that the things that I'm saying will. That's also not my goal. My goal is not to make people leave, but it's also not to make people stay. It's just to share my experiences. And, you know, I'd hoped I'd made that clear, but I guess probably it needs reiteration on a regular basis. So I'll try to do that a little bit more too, and state my intentions at the beginning of my videos a little bit more regularly. I don't want to be repetitive, but you know, maybe a little bit more regularly. I do promise that next week I will have more of my personal experiences and more of a point to get to or something, but I just felt like this development was just something that I don't want to be quiet about. I don't want to shrink away from it. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to be infantilized. I don't want to be treated like a child. I don't want to be obedient to that in order to make people comfortable when they should probably be uncomfortable. The church does not like discomfort. The church teaches that the Spirit gives you good feelings and that bad feelings mean things are wrong. And that often leads to members of the church being unable to sit with process negative feelings. Instead of investigating why they feel badly or investigating what might indicate about their spirituality, they run from it. And it's all right that not everyone is at a point where they are ready for that step. And they are welcome to scroll on from my videos. There is not one thing forcing anybody to sit and watch or listen to me. But I won't be silenced. I am not responsible for the church's comfort. If the church wants people to say good things about them, and they want people to be comfortable with their activities and their dealings and their behaviors, then they should probably fix the problems within. Anyways, I appreciate so much the support that you have given me, the community that I am building. My heart is a little heavy about this today, but I do anticipate a very bright future. Please continue to like, share if you find something valuable. I would love your comments. I would love to hear from you, your experiences. If you need somebody to talk to, shoulder to cry on, you just want to vent or anything like that, you are more than welcome to. My email is bray.wordsofexmormon@gmail.com. That's BRAE.wordsofexmormon@gmail.com. If you send me something to my email, I may share it, but I will not say who is emailing me. It would be an anonymous comment. If you comment on one of my public posts, I'm not really going to, I probably wouldn't say who it is anyway, but just for the record, that's public domain anyway, so there's probably not really much point in me deliberately protecting your anonymity. But I would love to hear from you. I just really appreciate so much the support that I've been given. I don't know how long I'll do these. Like, I have a lot to say though. And I feel like it's worth saying. I feel like if I have these feelings, other people do too. And I don't think that it does any good for people to just shut up. I just think that that is a very, it's just a controlling environment. It just goes back to show the control and the lack of autonomy. And I'm just tired of having no autonomy. So I'm sorry if I seemed just really exhausted and really heavy by this, but it is a topic that weighed very heavy on me. And I have stressed about it. I have cried about it. I have worried about it. Not because I'm worried about getting kicked out of the church. I'm trying to get my things, my records out and everything anyway. But because I think it's unfair. And because regardless of whether or not you need other people's approval, which I don't, it's human nature. It's human. It's just humanity in us that we need people, we need community, we need validation. And to think that there are people out there that are discussing me where I'm not present, and you know, it just bothers me. And I know I need to earn a thicker skin doing this. I will get there. But again, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.